Welcome back from that short break, ladies and gentlemen. I promised you shall be having someone from the Foundation for Human Rights Initiative. And yes, we are joined by the Executive Director, Livingstone Sewanyana. He is here with us to share more about this. Very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, and good morning to our dear listeners.
And first of all, I'll ask you to tell us, what does the Foundation for Human Rights Initiative do in Uganda?
The Foundation for Human Rights Initiative is a human rights advocacy group. It's independent, seeks to promote and protect human rights in all its forms, as we know it under international law. We seek to educate people about their rights. We work towards legal reforms. We ensure that there is better access to justice. And in all, we are trying to uplift the plight of the ordinary person, the rural woman, the indigent person. We are working for everyone, the prisoners, children. So as a human rights organization, we are really trying to ensure that there is an enabling environment for all people in this country to enjoy their rights, but also to live in an environment which takes care of their needs and aspirations and their dignity.
And human rights is a very, very, very topical matter in Uganda these days. And looking at Uganda, our setting now, what percentage would you give Uganda in regards to maintaining or promoting human rights is concerned?
That's always a very difficult question. Many times people ask you, how are we doing in Uganda in terms of human rights? Is our human rights record improving or is it declining? It's always difficult, but I always say that we have challenges, we have made progress in some areas, but we also have serious challenges. Maybe you could be looking at maybe 50%.
50%?
Yes.
50%. Would it not be so high the mark?
Well, of course, on face value, it may look high, but there are certainly some areas where there has been some bit of progress in terms of people expressing themselves. You have so many TV, radio stations. Although you have challenges, we all know that in terms of safety and security of the person, there is some degree of improvement here. People say Kampala is the safest town, save for the bombs we experienced the other day. The courts are working, although they have challenges. Parliament is busy doing its legislative work and trying also to provide oversight. So there are some areas where you could say there is progress, but there are also areas where we have serious challenges. We have challenges in ensuring speedy access to justice. It still takes long for somebody who has been wronged to see his or her case through the court system. We still have challenges of ensuring that when you have a problem, the police rescues you and responds as quickly as possible. Investigating a matter takes quite a lot. We also still have cases where the police has been accused of being high-handed, using excessive force. We have situations where the prisons are still overcrowded, despite efforts being made to improve on the welfare of prisoners. So there are challenges. We have high criminality, as you know, right now in this country. As I came in, you were saying there are criminal gangs trying to kidnap people and hold them at ransom. So there are issues. But on the balance, you could say there is some progress being made in some areas, but there are also serious challenges as we look towards 50 years plus of our independence.
Human rights entail. Because when you talk about human rights in the country, here they will tell about, basically being bundled up on a truck. That's what they understand as human rights.
That's what we normally think about. But human rights are broad. They include civil and political rights, as well as economic, social, and cultural. Access to education, access to health, access to social security, having a job, ensuring that you have a say in how you are governed. All these are rights, though we put a lot of emphasis on civil and political rights. But human rights are really broad. They really look at the whole spectrum of your life, how you live on this planet Earth. That's all right. Environment is a human rights issue. Access to land is a human rights issue. Access to social security is a human rights. We are in transition to democracy. There is a lot of emphasis on civil and political rights because they are seen as a basis upon which you can actually improve economic, social, and cultural rights.
So, work demonstrations, even some people were afraid of coming to Ghana, by the way. You've seen how the military comes in to use live ammunition. You've seen how police itself tortures people in detention. What exactly do you do as the Foundation of Human Rights Initiative in the country?
That, yes, Uganda is cast in bad light worldwide as one of those countries where violations of human rights take place. And of course, I entirely agree that all is not well. There are serious issues, as I've mentioned. As a human rights organization for the last 20 years, by the way, we are in our 21st year of existence. For the last 20 years, what the foundation has done is, one, to create rights consciousness among the population. Before we came into existence, and other bodies, we are not alone in this field. People hardly knew what exactly their rights are. And today, people are increasingly becoming conscious, and they also are making demands of their rights. So rights education has been one of the issues we have been involved in with other stakeholders. Secondly, ensuring that when you are wronged, when you have a challenge, you
says Mr. Sewanyana, what do you say about rampant corruption, which is denying us of a decent living? That's Fhri in Indeje.
I want to condemn corruption in all its forms and its manifestations.
What are you doing about it?
Of course, we can't do everything. There are agencies that are working in that area, like the Anti-Corruption Coalition, groups which have come together to do that, the Inspectorate of Government Auditor, there are all those bodies. But the bottom line is, the issue of corruption needs leadership if we are going to address it. We cannot talk about eradicating corruption when there are no role models fighting corruption. Right from His Excellency the President to the bottom line, they must show, act, behave in a manner that shows zero tolerance to corruption. Secondly, those bodies that have been set up to fight corruption must be seen to act and act in the interest of Ugandans. And then the Ugandans, on the other hand, must also desist from being corrupt, because corruption has become a way of life for many Ugandans. But I must say, I condemn it in all its manifestations, in all its forms, and of course, with the strongest voice I can ever echo.
Thank you very much. That was, of course, Livingstone Sewanyana, the Foundation for Human Rights Initiative Executive Director, sharing us the issue of the abuse of human rights in the country. Well, if you couldn't read your messages, we'll be reading them later after the break. Thank you very much for everything that you've done for the show, and we hope that you're helping this country.
Thank you, and thanks very much, WBS, for highlighting all these issues.
Okay, we take a short break now. We come back with a look at the world of sports